If you're sick of business books that tell you it's all about mindset, then I have the book for you. Enter the stylist that likes to share. Here is Amber with knowledge and care. And if you like the vibe, like and subscribe. So today I'm going to be talking about this book that I just read. It's a book for small business owners called Savvy Business Owner. And it is by Savvy Leisler and Leisler. I'm very lispy. I'm sorry, Savvy, if I butchered your name, but this book is really good. I do have to disclose I'm a bit biased before I even went into the book. I really do love Savvy. I love her YouTube channels. One is Savvy Writes Books. The other one is with another YouTuber called RK Gold, and their channel together is Your Morning Guru. And that is where I did really learn to love Savvy and RK. So I do have to disclose that I am going in a bit biased. I have the journal, Girl Wash Your Brain, because I am washing my brain of all of the bad business advice I've gotten over the years. As an independent stylist, I feel like this book is perfect for me, a book for small business owners. What's smaller than me, myself, and I, right? She is coming at it from a business owner that is selling an actual product, books, and stuffies. I think a lot of it is very versatile information. Anybody who owns a business, maybe not business owners who are like really deep into it. I do think it's for very small businesses, maybe in newer businesses, or people who are feeling unsteady in their current business. There's a lot of good advice in here. I'm just going to kind of go through, there are 5 sections in the book, and I'm just going to give a brief like synopsis of what each section is about, and just a little bit of why I think this is good advice. And try not to give too much, because I do think you definitely need to buy the book, because there's so much good advice in here. So I'm hopefully just going to skim through and give you a brief synopsis that helps you, you know, get excited about picking this book up and reading it, because it is really good. And I will tell you, just like that review I did on the business class I went to a while back, you want to go back in my YouTube videos, you can check that out. It's surprisingly rare to find good business classes and good business books. A lot of them are mindset training. That is different. I don't necessarily think it's 100% bad, but considering it business training, that is bad. The first part of the book, here we go, becoming an entrepreneur. So you don't need to necessarily be business-minded person 100% to become an entrepreneur. Being business-minded and creative do not need to be incompatible, which for me, I will say, personally, I feel like I am a creative and I'm not necessarily business-minded. That's why I'm always seeking out business classes and business books, because I need those reminders. I'm really good at math. I was always good at math. So I do agree with that the mathematical mindset and the creative mindset are not exclusive. You can have them both. And I appreciate that outlook, because it's just a good reminder that just because you're creative, you don't need to think you're not capable of being an entrepreneur. Another thing that's I think is really important from my perspective as an entrepreneur, as an independent stylist, this is a big one for me. Another thing that she wants to put out there is her opinion on MLMs. She suggests do not join an MLM because that is not creating your own business. And I agree with that. And as a stylist and as an independent stylist, it is very interesting how often I feel like us stylists get kind of like targeted for these MLMers as potential people to join them. And it's been very hard for me over the years, honestly. I've literally had somebody tell me I was stupid if I didn't join Mary Kay and sell it, because as a stylist, I should be selling things to my clients, like anything and everything basically, because they are willing customers basically. And I was so horrified because I'm like, if I'm going to sell my clients makeup, it's not going to be Mary Kay. It's probably going to be a professional brand that I buy from my professional distributor. And it was just like, this girl was so rude to tell me I was stupid, but also like, I was just like, she had no idea of my business and the structure of my industry, yet she was acting like I was the stupid one. Very insulting. She was the worst, but I will say I have had similar discussions, you know, in a much nicer tone for sure, but similar discussions that, wow, you're a stylist, you should sell Monat. Wow, you're a stylist, oh, you should join, you know, this weight loss thing and sell it to all your coworkers and all your clients. And it's like, that's not my mindset. I mean, that's, I think, where I get turned off to that business mindset, is because that, to me, is not a business mindset. And people who get that mixed up as take advantage of everybody and anybody you can wherever you go, get that mixed up with business is also disheartening. And I think the MLM structure promotes that as business, and it's not. So don't join a pyramid scheme, an MLM, anything that is forcing you to look at your life as a constant source of income by, you know, targeting everybody in your life to join your MLM. That is not cool. Don't do that. In my opinion, don't do that. I agree with Savvy, don't do that. She also talks about how to set up your LLC, which is good information. That is actual very practical information. The next section is starting to start up with capital. So this is a big thing. I will say in my industry, it's pretty nice where, you know, you can really actually start a business with, you need some capital, you need your scissors, you need your clippers, you need some color, you need things, you need a place to do it, but you can actually build a business with, you know, maybe $1,000 startup, maybe a little more depending on, you know, if you need to rent a space or whatever, you know, there might be a couple $1,000s, but actually it is a business that you can start with not having to have a huge startup capital, which is a great thing if you want to become an entrepreneur. I definitely have promoted that as a reason to become a hairstylist or a makeup artist or a nail tech, because you can literally start your own business. Many women have. I love that aspect of it too, that it's independent-minded women that are starting these businesses and are able to grow into something wonderful. I've seen so many stories like that. She does do some good, you know, like breakdowns of different ways you can get some capital, which is also very awesome, because like most of the time, most of us don't have the money. There are people out there that are very fortunate that have friends or families that are able to support them, or maybe they have a home that they're able to get a loan against to help build a business. Like, there are different ways to do this. Yeah, some people don't have that. So having other alternative ideas. She talks about crowdfunding even, and the benefit of that for small entrepreneurs and small business owners that need to get some capital flowing. So you do some crowdfunding, and it's very interesting because I've never gotten into that. She also talks about Patreon, which is one that I need to look into as a YouTube creator. I honestly have a hard time with this idea of being like, hey, give me your money for me just sitting here and yapping at you. And I need to find my own value in that because I do have information that is worth sharing, and maybe at some point I will get better at relaying that information to my audience to a point where I do feel comfortable being like, hey, I'm putting in this extra effort, like me actually like taking notes here, buying this book, you know, doing the extra effort to really hopefully portray my information that I want to get across in a better way. Then I will feel comfortable, you know, asking for money. But it is just really nice to see a book that actually breaks that down in a really concise way that is helpful, interesting, and, you know, might actually lead somewhere, you know, in the future. It might help somebody actually build a business. So that's why I want to recommend this book. I feel like these are actually good tips that can really make a difference. Not just, oh, keep your mindset positive. You know, that can help for sure. Being a Debbie Downer is never going to solve any problems. You need to be able to look at a problem and find solutions, not just, you know, mindset your way out of it. So the next section is, now that you've started your business, now what? So she talks about goal setting and how to do that. She talks about the reverse engineer method, where you start out with your big goal and then you work it down into monthly goals and then weekly goals and then daily goals. That's a great tool that I've used with many of my own students to map out their goals. There are lots of good programs out there that can help you with this. It was very interesting. In the last school that I worked for, they used the Summit program from Redken, and the very first salon that I worked for before I even had my license, I was just a receptionist. I should never say just, not just the receptionist. The receptionist is actually the one that runs the whole show there. As a receptionist, I was privy to information that the stylists were getting about the Summit program and how to figure out your goals and how to make sure that you are making money, achieving your goal, able to like progress within your business. So that was a really great tip. I really appreciated that, because that's the kind of information that's super helpful in a business. She also talks about being logistical in how to actually like plan out your business as far as market research and finance and all this stuff. So it goes into very big detail, and I won't go into all those details here because I don't feel like that is necessarily my forte. I will just tell you, as an independent stylist, there are lots of great ideas in here about scaling up, public speaking, how to be sure that you can convey yourself in a, you know, professional way at the appropriate times to make sure that you are getting the respect you need as a business owner. The next section, section 4, the scary world of social media. So this is where my interest in this book really sparked, because I feel like a lot of the other stuff in the beginning of the book didn't necessarily pertain to me, although I'm very thankful that it was actually information that I was like, yes, I agree with this and I can recommend this book to somebody and feel good about the information in it. The last couple sections are what really brought me some, maybe not new information, but confirmed some information I wasn't necessarily sure of and was super helpful. So the scary world of social media, she gives some advice about jumping on trends, giving yourself time, find your people, which I found savvy, and hopefully, you know, I think she and RK are some of my people, good people that want to spread good business advice and help others become successful, and I love that. Slow is good, building slow. So I've been starting my YouTube channel and my Instagram. I started it over the summer, but I'll really say I've kind of stepped back and gone forward and stepped back and gone forward. Right now, I've been doing very well with the consistency thing. And that's the next point. Consistency is key. And I will tell you, when I am consistent, I see things grow. When I am not, I see things stall. It is helpful when I don't do something, though. I'm at the point now where even if I take a little time away from it, I still get people that'll still see my old things and will still follow me here and there. And that does encourage me to get back on track. So I'm finally at that point where I'm seeing a little more encouragement of, wow, there's actually people out there watching. Hi guys, if you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. You gotta remember to plug that in there too. And the other thing in this section, you know, she just talks about living and learning. Like basically that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been sharing on my YouTube channel, learning how to navigate this transition from education in a structured environment and education on YouTube. Which for me, I've been such a consumer of the education on YouTube. I love it so much, and I'm so glad that I can become a part of it. Hopefully my content is helpful to somebody out there, because I got a lot in this noggin. I want to share it. I just got to find the best way to do that. I don't even know what else to say about that, but I'm just excited. So the last section, which is actually pretty small, but I actually ended up writing the most notes on, just because I think it just hit me so hard as stuff that I needed to remind myself of, and it was awesome. So section part 5 is the myths of the boss babe life. So this is super interesting because a lot of people want to be an entrepreneur. She goes through some of the myths and the truth. The myth: hard work is all you need. The truth: hard work isn't always enough. It's cold, hard truth. and that makes me want to cry. If you watch any of my other videos, you know I can cry really easily when I get a little sappy. And with the teaching thing, that was probably the first time in my life that I realized the harder I worked wasn't going to get me anywhere. The structure of the system that I was trying to participate in is flawed in many ways. What I wanted to be as an educator in this field of cosmetology does not exist in my area for me at this moment. So I need to find a different way. So that one really hit hard. And it's true, and it sucks. And as being somebody that came from that there's a will, there's a way mindset, you know, hustle mentality, this one is a hard one to swallow. But it's true, and I think acknowledging that is really, really important to growth and self-awareness. So good point. Love the things she says about it. Definitely recommend this book. You know, at the end, it really hit home. Next myth, the law of attraction. So the law of attraction is another thing a lot of these self-help business gurus like to, you know, really sell. And she's like, that's a myth. You know, you can't just wish yourself rich. But the truth is, it's more like the law of action. And I do really agree with this. So she says it's more like if you let yourself get into that negativity mind spiral, yeah, you're not going to want to even try. So if you have that more positive outlook, you know, looking at the problem, finding solutions, and taking action, that's how you are going to attract that money. And hopefully those good business ideas and all that stuff. I really appreciate this outlook as well, especially coming from that mind over matter mentality. Yeah, I definitely go more with the where there's a will, there's a way. You got to take action, just make it happen. But sometimes, again, back to that first one, you got to be able to know when to call it and look at the problem and be like, wow, this is a problem I actually can't solve because it's a problem within this structure of society or whatever. So I need to rethink my whole business plan. For me, being an educator, I need to rethink that and find a solution. Hopefully you too. So yeah, I really appreciate this whole outlook on when things don't work out, how to approach it. The next myth is entrepreneurship gives you the financial freedom to be home. The truth is you'll probably not see your family more often, maybe even less often, especially in the beginning, depending on what that is. I know she made a point of maybe you're working from home, so you're allowed to be around your family more. Like me with this YouTube, you know, I'm not at the school, but I'm at home and I'm doing things within the home, like reviewing this book. But if my kids need to pop down and interrupt me, they can. So there are benefits to certain business structures that can definitely make you more available for your family. You might have more freedom and flexibility. Like with me as a stylist, as an independent stylist, I was able to decide what days of the week that work best for my family to work. I've moved my schedule many times throughout the years to fit sports schedules, to fit co-parent with my husband and my stepson, so to fit his mom's schedule. I was able to, you know, move my life around a lot of things that weren't able to move. So I've been super appreciative of my entrepreneurship and that flexibility. But yes, just because you're available doesn't necessarily mean it's like you're just like lounging around in your PJs all day, snuggling your babies, and you're not really doing anything. You still have to work your butt off. So don't let anyone fool you, especially people who are trying to get you to join like multi-level marketing, or now they call it social media marketing, or whatever you want to call it. Peer-to-peer selling, they call it. I don't know. Whatever you call it, it's still going to be hard work. So don't let them fool you into thinking you're going to be working from home. You won't have to be at the salon anymore. No matter what business you're in, it's going to be hard work. Sorry, that's the truth of it. Especially if you want it to be good. You will hopefully build your business to the point where you will have enough money to then buy time. An educator at the business class that I went to, he said, you know, that's what rich people do. They're rich enough they can have that They can pay somebody to do their lawn work. They can pay somebody, you know, to bring their groceries to the house. They can find that time by having the freedom of money to pay for someone else to do it, which is a good thing too, because lots of people need those jobs too. So, yeah, kind of the mindset of once you have it, pay it forward. Yeah, make sure you're tipping well and paying people well when you have it, because we've all been there, or at least I think anybody watching me has been there, where you've been the person making hardly anything and those tips mean everything, literally food on your table. The last myth. This one is a doozy. This one again also hit super close to home, because the myth is the customer's always right. The truth is sometimes the customer sucks, and she is so right. You know, if you've been a hairstylist for more than a minute, you probably know you have had some customers that are not the nicest. They don't know what they want and they blame you because you can't give them what they want, but they don't know what they want. And it can be really hard, especially when you're a new stylist and you're not comfortable with yourself and your communication. And I feel like this is one of the biggest things that also deters stylists, is rotten customers that take advantage and take it out on stylists, and then not having the support you need to help you cope with that. So especially newer stylists fresh out of school that are going to places like, you know, Great Clips or something. I don't necessarily feel like I want to knock a specific brand, but that's just one that comes to mind, where you can get like a $5 or $10 haircut, and their business model actually promotes that you do the haircut as fast as you can. And then if a client is unhappy and they're being rude about it because you just did this chopped up job, and then a lot of times, you know, these places are understaffed and overwhelmed, and there's just there's so many layers to it of how it can be so disheartening when you have a bad client, or, you know, just a bad situation that's not going to help you deal with. You may have messed up. How are you going to write it? As a people pleaser, it breaks my heart when somebody isn't happy, and you do have to kind of, to some extent, cater to the client. That's part of what I do. I'm giving you a service. I need to be happy and helpful and glad to do it. That's part of the service I provide. But to an extent, you can't just take any crap from anybody, and having a good structure and knowing how to deal with that when it comes up. And so being aware that customers are not always right and how to deal with it when they are bad. There's a few tips in here. And that's this book, and it is really good. And I wish there was more books like this. I wish there was more classes like the one I took a while back. This is the kind of book that if I had a school, I would give my students this book, because there are so many good tips in it. I love it, and I'm glad I can share it with you guys. So thanks for watching. Bye.